The way the lichen charcoalized is quite beautiful and quite interesting. Hello and welcome to today's video. The topic of today's video is making charcoal. Now, making charcoal is pretty interesting because of how simple it is. Although if you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to do it. So without further ado, here's the process of making charcoal. Well, here we are. I'm going to show you the materials I'm about to use, but safety first. And there we go. Now I'm ready to start showing you what we're going to do to make the charcoal. So here we have the twigs I'm going to turn to charcoal, and here I have a small piece of newspaper that I'm going to put in there to see how easy it is to turn it into charcoal along with the twigs. This is the vessel I'm going to be using, and I am going to cover it with aluminum foil. That way I can restrict the airflow so that the twigs and potentially the small piece of paper will turn into charcoal. Alright, so the reason that wood turns into charcoal when it has heat applied to it in an environment with low oxygen is because the volatile molecules are driven off of the wood, leaving almost pure carbon behind. On to making the charcoal. Alright, now I've adjusted the camera to where you can get a better view of what I'm doing. So I'm going to put the twigs in the vessel. And I'm going to add the newspaper piece. If this wasp doesn't stop flying around me, I'm going to turn it into charcoal. Alright, so here I'm taking aluminum foil. And I'm going to wrap the top with it. Now that I have located a sharp object, I'm going to make a small hole in the top. Now the key is that it has to be a small hole because you want to limit the flow of oxygen into the vessel. Now I'm going to use this torch here to turn the twigs and newspaper into charcoal and char paper respectively. If you'll notice, you can start to see smoke coming out of the hole at the top. Those are the volatile chemicals being driven out of the wood and paper. I've turned off the torch so you can see the wood gas coming off, and it's on fire currently. Alright, so I've determined that aluminum is not the best lid for this kind of thing. So I need to attempt to find a new lid that will work properly. When in doubt, try random things until you are successful. I'm going to let this run for a while until I feel that the twigs and the paper have turned into their mostly carbon-based counterparts. Generally, when making charcoal, you want to heat up your materials until you stop seeing flames from the volatile chemicals coming out. Or if you don't have your volatile chemicals lit, until you see the smoke stop coming out. Alright, I think I may have gotten to the point where it is charcoal. Now I added some water to the top of the brick before I took it off because I was trying to pull it off with my hands, but I quickly found that wasn't going to work, so I grabbed a pair of tongs to take it off. But whenever I pulled the brick off, I found I made some tar on the top of the hole. As you can see, there's a bit of tar on the bottom of the brick, and here on the bottom of the aluminum foil, you can see quite a bit of tar formed, so I might actually be able to use some of this tar. But what I'm sure you've been waiting for is the charcoalized twigs and piece of newspaper. I'm now going to take the twigs and newspaper and move them to a plate so I can better show them to you. Alright, so here's the charcoal, and down here you can actually see a hair that managed to get in there. I saw it before, but I didn't mention it. Oh man, they're burning the plate. Hold on. Alright, here are the twigs, but I actually need to water them quickly because they are burning a bit. So before they burn away, I need to put water on them quickly. Now what I probably should have done instead of taking them out so quickly is let them sit in their container and cool down. But because I took them and exposed them to the air while they were still so hot, they caught on fire. Here's a piece. We're going to break it and see if it's charcoalized all the way to the center. That was an easy snap, and you can see it is pure black on the inside, which means we fully charcoalized it. Fortunately, the newspaper piece was one of the few pieces not to spontaneously combust, even though it was one of the thinnest. If you look closely in bright sunlight, you can actually see the text. Well, I am going to let these dry out and I can use them in a future project. I'm thinking I'm going to use them in the ink project to go with the aluminum stamp for printing. Well, I hope, oh wait, there we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video and I hope to see you next time.